If you're someone who's struggled with weight for a long time, you may feel there's a psychological element to it. But if you haven't had the opportunity to explore this in therapy, it can be difficult to understand why you struggle and where this comes from. A key thing I've learned through working in weight management is that our relationship with our bodies as adults is often rooted in our early experiences in life. The connection isn't always obvious, and the fact our upbringing may have led us to where we are doesn't mean we can't change things today. I'm going to share some examples of how your upbringing might have affected your adult weight behaviour and reflect on how understanding this can free you up to move forward. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Paula Watson. I'm a Liverpool-based psychologist providing therapy for people struggling with weight, eating disorders and exercise. This is my second video in my weight loss psychology series, where I'm sharing truth 1 of 10 hard truths that will help you understand why you struggle with weight and help you feel less alone. Please subscribe if you'd like to catch the whole series, and if you haven't yet watched the introductory video where I introduce all 10 truths, I'd encourage you to check it out. The truth I'm talking about today is that our relationship with weight is always rooted in our upbringing. Now, to say always might seem a bit extreme. I'm not suggesting our upbringing is the only factor influencing our weight, and I'm not suggesting it's always the most important factor. But what I am suggesting is that with every client I see, their upbringing can at least in part explain the way they've come to see their adult selves, their bodies, and the world around them. I'm going to explain this through a cognitive behaviour therapy or CBT perspective and run through 4 sections in this video. Firstly, I'll explain how our upbringing influences beliefs about ourselves. Secondly, how those beliefs about ourselves influence our weight-related behaviours as adults. Thirdly, we'll go through some common examples of these links between upbringing, beliefs and adult weight behaviours. We'll then finish with some questions to help you reflect on your own relationship with weight and free yourself to move forward. Please be aware, thinking about your upbringing may bring up difficult thoughts and emotions. Be kind to yourself when you're watching this video. And remember, this isn't a substitute for professional support. If you're struggling, it's important you reach out to your local mental health service or seek weight-specific support from a qualified psychologist like myself. I offer one-to-one weight loss therapy in Liverpool and online, so please drop me an email for a free discovery chat if you're struggling. Now let's think about how our upbringing influences beliefs about ourselves. There's a saying here in the UK that children are like sponges, meaning that children have a remarkable capacity to soak up what's going on around them and absorb this for later use. This helps us learn at a rate in childhood that we can only look back on enviously as adults. By picking up on the micro behaviours, the emotions, the words of important adults around them, children start to form beliefs about themselves, the world and others around them. The child who's constantly told that they're stupid will soon begin to believe they are. The child who never receives any praise may begin to believe they're incompetent. The child who's always picked last in PE will begin to believe they're unlikable. These beliefs are called our core beliefs. Although we can change our core beliefs over time, when we hold strong negative core beliefs going back to childhood, they can be very overpowering. We might have a range of negative and positive core beliefs, but when we're not feeling good about ourselves, it's usually the negative core beliefs that come to the surface. So let's consider now how these core beliefs developed during childhood influence our adult weight behaviours. Let's imagine you've developed a core belief of "I'm not good enough," stemming from your early experiences in life. For example, this might be growing up with a parent, especially a mother, who's very body conscious or appearance focused. You might constantly hear your mum saying she needs to lose weight, her thighs are too fat, or she's always on the new fad diet. Perhaps as you grow up, you start to notice the only times you've been praised are when you've looked good or when you've lost weight. Because you don't feel good enough, you might develop behaviours in childhood to try and hide that belief from others or to try and stop it being true. You might develop a rule such as, if I stay slim and look good, I'll be okay. This then influences your day-to-day thinking, and soon you're carrying around a constant voice on your shoulder. That voice might sound like a bully, but really they're trying to protect you. They're protecting you from the harm you might come to if you break your rule of not staying slim and looking good. So all day that voice is saying things to you like, "Don't eat that, you'll get fat," or "Don't let others see you eating, they'll think you're greedy," or "You shouldn't have eaten that, you're a failure." These become your automatic thoughts. And when it comes to the behaviours we see on the surface, this shows up in restrictive eating, secret eating, beating yourself up, and a strong inner critic, none of which are helpful for healthy weight management. That shoulder bully was protective to you in your childhood, but they're no longer relevant or helpful to you as an adult. The first step to moving forward is to recognise when that voice pops up, it belongs in your childhood. It's time to bid that bully farewell and replace them with a kind, caring cheerleader instead. Let's think now about some less obvious upbringing factors that influence adult weight. Although for some people the weight problems might develop following major trauma or significant life events, for the majority of clients I see, their trauma is less obvious and might be repeated, seemingly minor interactions, but built up over a whole childhood. These can have a significant impact. A sibling constantly calling you fatty, an aunt making sly remarks about your weight, or constantly trying to be perfect to please your parents. In fact, it's not unusual for my clients to struggle to think of any examples from their upbringing that could have had a negative impact on the relationship with weight. But when we start delving deeper, we often discover the roots of their unhelpful thinking, and it's not always where they expect to find it. Here's an example where the connection might feel less immediately obvious. Let's imagine as a child, your parents are always busy with work, or perhaps their attention was taken up looking after a sibling with additional needs, or a sibling who was always in trouble. You were left to fend for yourself from an early age, and you didn't want to bother anyone by not being okay. You might have developed a rule that if I'm not okay, my parents won't be able to cope, driven by core beliefs about both yourself, I don't matter, and your parents, my parents are vulnerable. So if you felt upset, you'd find other ways to soothe yourself, such as food, whereas what you actually needed was some love and attention from your parents. And what does this look like today? It might look like emotional eating, a difficulty in putting your own needs first, or a lack of awareness of your own emotions, all of which are important aspects of healthy weight management. This is just one example, and we need to remember every individual experience is unique. Other common factors I see linked to adult weight management are unpredictable or controlling parenting, leading the child to believe they need to be perfect to be okay, and then weight gain is seen as a sign of failure. Few opportunities to achieve or stand out in school or at home, leading the child to believe they're not capable, or they're a disappointment to others, and weight gain further adds to this. Being the oldest sibling or supporting parents through difficulties, leading to a belief that other people's needs matter more, and they don't deserve to prioritise their own needs. Let's now reflect on your own relationship with weight. As I've talked through the examples today, you may have found things resonated with you or made you think about your own upbringing. When you feel ready to take more time to reflect on this, it might be helpful to ask yourself a few questions. How do you see yourself, the world, and others around you? And what was it about other adults' behaviour towards you when you were young that influenced these beliefs? Although these beliefs might have protected you at the time, are they still relevant today? What effect do these beliefs have on your diet, on your movement, and on your body image today? Imagine a friend had exactly the same experience as you. What would you say to them to help them? We often find it so much easier to say word of kindness to others than to ourselves. So this friend question can be a real powerful one. And these questions are the examples of the kind of things we might talk about if you came to weight loss therapy. Taking the time to reflect on these can help you better understand why you struggle and free you up to move forward. Some people feel uncomfortable talking about how their upbringing leads to the weight. They might feel guilty or feel like they don't want to blame their parents or other adults in their lives. Remember, this isn't about blame. This isn't about other people. This is about you. It's about understanding and self-compassion, both of which are things that you need to move forward in a healthy way with your weight management. And if we were to working together in weight loss therapy, the next steps will be to help you develop a new positive core belief that's more relevant for who you are today. So let's imagine what this might look like. If someone begins to believe I am capable, the kind of rules they might follow might be, if I'm doing my best, I'm doing well enough. Or if I focus on moderation rather than all or nothing, I'll be able to manage my weight, which is likely to lead to more positive automatic thoughts in situations like when you have a bad day. Instead of thinking, that's it, I failed again, I give up, you'll start to think ups and downs are normal. I know I can get back on track tomorrow. So ask yourself what you'd like to be able to believe about yourself. It might be I'm good enough, I'm worthwhile, or simply I'm okay. Then start saying this to yourself daily. Don't worry if you don't believe it right now. The very act of getting used to talking positively to yourself will introduce a kind voice and quieten down the bully on the other shoulder. If you're still watching, thank you. We've talked about some difficult topics today, so please be kind to yourself if this has been challenging for you. And give yourself credit for taking the time to watch this today. You're letting yourself go to an uncomfortable place to better understand your relationship with weight. And that's a really important step for moving forward. Always remember, it's a sign of great strength to ask for help. If you feel ready to take the next step and try weight loss therapy, please do reach out for a free discovery chat. And I'll be back next week with episode 3 in the weight loss psychology series, where we're going to be asking, why is keeping weight off so hard? If this is something you struggle with, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out.